Yes, we are live. What's happening, people? This is Everyone's a Pundit. That's it. Everyone's a Pundit, episode 82. It's always a good day, man, when I got my people in the house. I've got some returning guests with me today. It's a pleasure to have back on the show Dan Lawless. Please introduce yourself, Dan.
Yes, if you had that vibration, I got notifications on for you guys, of course.
Hey,
Click the bell, do that if you're watching. But yeah, no, apart from that, I'm all right. I'm pissed off, to be honest. But you know, it's one of them things, isn't it?
We're gonna get into that. Don't worry, get your thoughts and everything. But you hear that, people? Notification bell on. So we love that, man. Thank you very much, Dan. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, just like Dan has on. And yes, if you do enjoy the show, please give us a like as well and share about with your friends. Let's also introduce our other guests. John, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, what's up, people? Thanks for having me on again. Sems, Patrick, big Liverpool fan. Got a lot to say today, so let's go.
Let's go.
And
it's always a vibe when I got Kojo in the house. Come on.
Yes, what are you saying? Firstly, also, got my notifications up here, so anyone watching, you better be liking and subscribing to this channel, you know what I'm saying? And secondly, it feels weird because I feel like this is the first time I've come on and four of us are not winning, but Spurs are. It's weird. So
You're sounding very godlike right now, Kojo, with the reverb going on.
Go on.
It's kind of echo there.
All right. And although his Twitter's been locked off, I can see he's still in good spirits. Enter the building, please, Mr. Swaggy Daniels.
yes, what's happening, people? It's your boy Patrick Tyron, aka Young Swaggy Daniels. When you see the T, you see the P. When you see the P, that represents T. Let's go.
Let's go, people. Let's go.
Man, them.
Let's go.
Yeah, Twitter Joe. Oh man, I'm missing at the moment. So yeah, man.
I thought you was repping West Ham there. I thought you was doing West Ham.
man had the irons up and that.
I know Kojo's always doing it, so I thought you.
I know. I'm doing Wakanda.
Wakanda or Freedom Mandem. Sorry, Dan. Sorry.
Wicked, man. And I'm Semps, for those of you that want to know. And this is it, man. Everyone's a pundit. Let's get on with the show. We got a brilliant show for you today. I'm just going to run through the Premier League results this weekend. Started off with the early kickoff on Saturday. Man United 1, Everton 1. Burnley also 0-0 with Norwich. Chelsea 3, Southampton 1. Chelsea bounced back there well, and they're now top of the table. Leeds 1, Watford 0. I believe that was Leeds' first win of the season, so they are happy. KG's happy, sorry. Wolves 2, Newcastle 1. And Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. And I have to say, I watched that game. Brighton were quite sick, especially in that first half. Should have been a few goals up. Moved on to today. Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 2. I believe Crystal Palace came back from 2-0 down. So that is a bit mad. And yes, Tottenham 2, Aston Villa 1. It's a big win there for Tottenham. And this is the one that Dan is not happy about. West Ham 1, Brentford 2. Them last minute winners is not easy to take, boy. And the big game today, Liverpool 2, Man City 2. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the big game of the weekend. John, talk to us from a Liverpool perspective. Are you happy with that result today?
I think considering how that first half went, I think you have to take a point. I think you can't not turn up to work and not clock in and expect to get full pay. It don't really work like that. So I think considering, that Klopp clearly got into them in the at half time, which I think he had to, and that showed his quality as well, that we were able to come out in the second half, and actually make a go of it. Now, obviously, we can just sit here and now wonder, like, what if we went in the first half, the scoreline could have been different. Let me not take nothing away from City, though, because this is the game. This is every season since we've been sort of like rivaling. This is the game that I look forward to the most, and it's the game that I'm the nervous the most because I know City can ball out like without a striker or like with a striker. So I think, given the way that they played and we managed to somehow get through that, Mo scored an amazing goal. Yeah, like I think a point is a fair result considering everything.
Okay. Dan, did you manage to see the game today?
No, we was filming at the time the game was going on, so I was getting updates and that. But yeah, like it's one of those, isn't it? Like I suppose if you're rivaling someone for the title, a point against your rivals, it's not the worst thing. Obviously, Liverpool are at home, so that's the one out of that fixture they want to be winning. But you know, like as long as they pick up points against the teams that they should be beating, pick up the wins against the teams, they're sitting all right. So it keeps them in that running.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, Coach. What did you make of the game?
Tale of two halves, but the difference being when Liverpool got into the game, City didn't sort of slow down. They always had an answer to something. And I think the big difference from maybe a couple of seasons ago when Klopp went a bit mad on the touchline, was shouting two and all that stuff. Even though he went mad this time, the team could have sort of kept their composure and found their way back into the game. But it's just, what's so fun about this game is that it just shows a high level of quality. There's always quality in these games. And Mo Salah's goal was the highest of the quality. You know what I'm saying? The setup for Foden's goal, highest of the quality. The goal for Mane's goal, the setup for that, highest of the quality. And De Bruyne's goal might have taken a deflection, but even the play around that, highest of the quality. And sometimes need a bit of luck in those games. I think JB will be a little bit frustrated just because he's at home, and I guess in this game you want to have the upper hand when you come out of that. It's early in the season, but that win can give you a bit of momentum going forward. But I think a draw was a fair result, man. It was a fair result.
Can I ask a question to you guys who watched it? Let me get my agenda out here because I've just had a little look at the player ratings. Mm-hmm. And according to the player ratings, Man City's worst player, rated at 5.4, was Jack Grealish.
Wow.
Now, I didn't watch the game.
Grealish was poor.
He was the worst player, according to BBC, for Man City. What's going on? 100 mil. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys might have seen
since that West Ham game. You've been forcing this agenda.
He's trying to see what you eye test guys might be saying. I'm just looking at this interesting.
I watched the game today. Grealish was okay. He wasn't the greatest, but to be fair to Grealish, he's coming to
you're a nice guy, man. You're a nice guy. He was not okay. He
was all right, man. He's coming to a team, one of the best teams in the world, and he slotted in quite effortlessly. To be fair, he looks like he's been there for a while. I know he wasn't at the races today, but he wasn't. Was he their worst player? I think that's a bit. I think Laporte kind of was out of sorts today. He was getting shown up by Liverpool's front three. He wasn't that great. But to be fair, it was a great game, man. Like Foden's finish, that touch, and then that finish from that angle, you are not saving that no matter who you are. And to get it in and that preciseness, amazing. Foden looked quality, like quality. De Bruyne wasn't at his usual self as well. So even though he got a goal, he wasn't as good as he usually is. So, but no, that was a great game, man. Mo Salah's goal was scintillating.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Like the roll back, the drag back, whatever you want to call it, the touch, then the fit. Oh, mate, crazy. And even his setup for Mane's goal as well, and Mane's finish as well. Yeah, that was a great game, man. It was a great game. And to be fair, JB, you guys weren't at it in the first half. You could have been 2 or 3-0 down. But
easy.
You had your backs to the wall, and you came out in that second half and you showed what you were about. So, I think you were very lucky, though. When Pep went nuts, I think he was within his rights to go nuts.
100 Milner should have been off. Like, I would be the first to admit that,
Lazy leg. He definitely didn't try and get the ball. He only had the intentions to take the man down. That's a second yellow. So,
and that would have changed the game completely, because I think you could kind of say maybe a point was fair to us, but unjust to City. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think with the grand scheme of the way the game panned out, they played, over the 90 minutes, they were the better team.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't take away from that. To go back to the Grealish thing, I think he just sort of struggled to get into the game. That's what I felt. He felt he wasn't involved in the game enough. When you looked at Foden, though, Foden was doing things. He was moving around. He was getting into positions. Like he was doing it. He was offering a lot more. So I think the Grealish thing will come. I think with time. But I think at the moment, I think it's still too early to judge him. I know it's 100 mil. You know, that's not his fault. But I know it is what it is. You know, when it comes to football. So
aren't we? Yeah, not necessarily that are we judging him too early, but it's a different type of football that he's playing now at City, isn't it? Like at Aston Villa, he sort of is the main man, can do what he wants around the pitch, essentially. I feel at City, he is like fixated on this left-hand side. I didn't see the game today, so those of you that saw it would be able to comment and let me know. But when I see him, he seems to be quite rigid in his positional play at the moment. He doesn't quite seem to be roaming around like he did at Villa, and maybe that's impacting him.
That's a Pep thing, though, isn't it? Because I think many players that's played under Pep have always said that he's very, very strict when it comes to positional play. He wants you on that left side. If you're wide, he wants you wide until a certain moment. And I think Grealish has got that down. But in terms of rating him, number one, of course, the price tag puts pressure on him immediately. He's the most expensive British player. He's the most expensive, I think, transfer in Premier League history. I might be wrong. Can't think of a bigger fee, but yeah, that's where the pressure comes. But he has fit in well at City, but that's what comes with Pep. You have to adapt to that. And in these big games, unfortunately, whether it's your first one or your fifth one, that's where you get judged.
This is the thing. What I said, Kojo, on Usman's show, I think we talked about, or in the group chat, is they didn't need Grealish. He just slots in, and he just becomes another guy.
Yeah,
he's not the guy that's going to take them over the edge and solidify the title or take them to the Champions League. It was almost like a waste of 100 mil. Yeah, okay, he's going to come and he's going to be a decent player. He's not going to be terrible, but he's not going to, elevate the team. And I just don't think he'll ever be that guy. Like, really.
That said, though, he wasn't City's worst player today, though. I will say that.
He wasn't.
For me, KDB was City's worst player.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. That's what I've seen on Twitter. To be fair, is that Kevin De Bruyne was anonymous today.
He was
Very
sloppy.
Hasn't he just come back from injury though?
No, he's played a couple of games since. Not like 2-3 games. He's getting there, and
he scored the goal. Come on, man, he scored.
No, he scored the goal, but that don't take away
with
from
a deflection though as well. Don't forget that was a massive deflection. It looked like
he was very sloppy with his passes.
No, but obviously it was going on target anyway for it to be given as his goal. I don't know, man. It's just one of them things, isn't it? But KDB.
You wanted to get the agenda out, Dan. Don't try and say.
No. Listen, Grealish got credit in the bank. Where's Grealish's credit? He hasn't got no credit.
What have you got against Grealish then? What don't you like about him?
Did he bang a hat trick against them or something? I don't know.
Well, he's a dirty player. He's a cheat for one. Do you know what I mean? Like, which goes under the radar massively. Everyone talks about like Salah and he's diving in this and that. This guy is the worst. And I just feel like people overrate him too much. He's a good player. That's it. He's not. And people talk like he's world class. People gush over him and get too excited. And he's just okay. Like, he's a good player. He's good. He's not Man City should be in their team to take them to the Champions League or whatever.
That's how I feel about Saka. When these men tried to jump onto me last week.
Pat, come on.
No,
it's not the same, bro. It's not.
Yeah, Pat, come on.
leave Saka alone, Pat, man.
Yeah,
allow the young blood, man.
And Grealish is much better than Saka.
Black Lives Matter.
Much better.
No, but Grealish is supposed to be the finished article at this stage. He's 26 or so, 25, 26. He's supposed to be like getting into his prime. Saka, like I said on Twitter, like the jury's out. Okay, he's good now. Is he going to be good when he hits them ages? We'll find out. But at the moment, like, he's younger, so you give him a bit of time. Like Grealish, I don't think he's going to get much better. That's the thing.
Well, look. Let's see. Like you say, the jury's out on even Grealish. Let's see how he fares this season. He's in a new team now, big price tag on him, a lot of expectation. Let's see how he's able to adapt. But if we was to talk about player in the moment, John, what are your thoughts on Salah? Because again, I've heard his goal today was a madness. There's some chat going on in the groups about him being the best striker or best in world football at the moment. What are your thoughts on Mo Salah? Just before I let you speak, I just want to say I have to hold my hands up I thought Salah, after the first season he done it, I was like, he will die out next season. And then, he will die out. And he's just continued to be consistent, man. What are your thoughts on him?
I'll be honest, I think Salah's got a little bit of the Harry Kane treatment. And what I mean by that is, and I was one of these people, Harry Kane, he had a very good, I think he's one of his first seasons for Spurs. It was like, okay, good. Let's see if he can do it again. And then he did it again. And I was like, good, let's see if he can do it again. Then he did it again. Then I was like, good, let's see if he can do it again. And it gets to a point where you just have to say to yourself, brother, the guy's cold, innit? Like, what are we did? Like, give the man his dues, innit? Give the man his respect. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand why there's that doubt in people's mind. I mean, I say I don't understand it. I get it, maybe. Maybe it might be the aesthetic version of what a footballer is and how good that footballer is. But in terms of what he does on the pitch, his job, he does his job. I cannot say any more than that. So he's amazing. Nobody thought he would go to be the player that he is now when we signed him. What was it, like 34 million or whatever it was at the time that we paid for him? And he's just come on like leaps and bounds. And without him, I actually do not like. Without his, if you take his goals out of Liverpool right now, we're a mid-table club. Like, if like you can't take out 25 goals and we can't just replace them with someone else in the team. So yeah, he's amazing, man, and I'm just so thankful that we have him in our team, man. Not really much more I can say about that, to be fair. So,
Kojo, do you think he's the best around at the moment in world football?
It's a difficult one because if you're talking about in form as well as stuff of quality, I mean, Lewandowski hasn't stopped, but one that's been doing so well this season already is Karim Benzema. So that's another one that you can throw in there because he's someone that hasn't been getting his due for years because he plays with Ronaldo. This guy, but the guy is quality upon quality. But what I will say about Salah is this: it's baffling to think that he wouldn't get his respect, knowing that he's compared with so many players in the past. Your Ronaldo when he was young, Eden Hazard, and all it is about this whole he's not clean with a dribble. The guy is efficient. The guy is cold. He beats the goal he scored today. The strength he showed, and then the dribbling ability he showed in such a little tight space before applying such an emphatic finish. You can't doubt quality. I'm sorry, you just have to give the guy his due from start to finish. The guy is wonderful. He's a brilliant player, and I think what I'll say about Liverpool is they signed Firmino first, and then added Mane before Salah came, and they were sort of like pushing top four, but they weren't title contenders. When Salah came in, the game changed. They're not winning Champions League, in my opinion, and Premier League without that boy in the team. That's as simple as it gets. We talk about Virgil van Dijk showing up the defense. Absolutely. We talk about Alisson being a brilliant world-class goalkeeper. Absolutely. Defense can win championships and titles. We heard about that, but the goals can never be underrated. The goal-scoring record this guy has is insane. It's absolutely mad and to think about. So, yeah, for me, he's definitely, if people are doing the debate about top 5, top 3 or whatever, he's definitely top 3 in the world. You can put whoever you want to put in top 3, but he's there. He's sensational, man.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Dan, a little bit like what you was talking with the Jack Grealish, that you don't think he goes to City and helps them win the title or Champions League. What are your thoughts on Mo Salah? Because it does seem that he's been the X factor for Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a real world-class player. That's a real difference maker. That's someone that you do slap down like 100 mil for. I know and there's a reason. Obviously, Salah's been linked with moves to Real Madrid and all of this, and it seems like at the moment he seems settled. It's going to be very interesting if he does get moved, but that's someone that I can see if Real Madrid do want to come back in and go again for the Champions League. You slap down that big money. You don't go and get guys that at Aston Villa and everyone's just passing to them to make them shine. Their whole game plan is pass to Grealish and they're going to shine. But you get someone like Salah who's in a top team with top players and still does it week in, week out. They said he'd be a one-season wonder, and here we are. We're still talking about him and going in for banging in goals still. I don't even know. How old is he now? He's like late 20s?
29.
29. Do you know what I mean? Like he could still be doing this for years and years. So, and it's going to be very interesting again. See if he does decide he wants another challenge. He's won the Premier League with Liverpool. He's won I know you won't be like me saying this, JB, but he's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League with Liverpool. He may want another challenge. I'll be very interested to see how that carries on and how Liverpool deal with that if he does decide to do that.
Can I ask JB a question? Because I saw, shout out to Cy Cole in the comments. He said, pay him whatever he's worth, pay him 500k. Do you feel that every time a big player has asked for big money, whenever they get it, they always dip, no matter what the circumstances are? We've seen it with Aubameyang, we've seen it with Eden Hazard, we've seen it with so many players. Do you think paying him that much money will then cause problems in Liverpool and almost like Salah would then start taking it easy? Or do you think it's worth you paying him that money and, you know, keeping hold to him?
That's a good question. The way I look at it is like, whatever he's worked for that new contract, like, and I think he deserves that new contract. Now, whether or not Liverpool want to give him that contract, because I know like the way that Liverpool work, like in the background, I know they try and keep a lot of a in-house business in-house, if that makes any sense. And I'm partly to believe that maybe they've got an agreement maybe in place with him, you know, in terms of what he might get in terms of, you know, if it's going to be 500k or what, you know, whatever it's going to be. But anyway, I'll say this: give the man his money. Like, I think he deserves it. Now, whether or not, you know, he goes off, he then dips in terms of what you're saying, Pat. I don't know, but I think what he's done at Liverpool and how, you know, how he's been, all the goals he scored, what, you know, I don't see no reason why he shouldn't.
Have you seen this comment?
No FA Cup stuff.
There's always one. There's always one.
Yeah.
Find that man.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, go on, Pat. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's just an interesting question because
it's a tricky one, man.
We've seen it time and time again. I'm not saying it will happen, but we have seen it time and time again where players play an amazing and they're just about to sign a new contract, and as soon as they sign that contract, boom. So you know,
is that? I mean, are you being generic when you say that, or are you being specific? Because I think you could. I'm sure there's other examples of where they've been given a contract and then. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's easy to say give him a new contract and he's just going to dip. Like it can go either way, innit? So you know, but I think he deserves that new contract, no doubt. And not only that, where do you go out and find 25 plus goals a season now?
I know. Yeah, great question.
It's true. It's short.
Where do you go? Like
short in that area now, man. Do you think, John, that we were definitely seeing two of the title challengers for this season? You think it's going to be close this season, the title?
100%, because I think what that game showed me was that, I don't even like saying this, but City were just a little bit better. Like, I can't, the way they play football, what Pep has got them doing, they're just, I don't know, just a little bit better. Now, granted, it's, you know, we're still very early into the season, you know, a lot might change, you know, how like players gain form through like playing games, etc. But I think oh shit, I've lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
You was talking about, go on, Pat.
Yeah, no, I was just basically Semps was asking about title contenders. Is it between you and City?
Chelsea, but as you know, like we're in there, and I think I don't know. Part of me feels as if like we've still got a little way to go to be deemed like the best club in, you know, in the country. I think City, I think on their day can beat anyone, man, just for fun. So
there's a question here between. There's a question here for you as well, John. Do you think done the dirty on Gini by not giving him a new contract because of his age when you see Hendo get a long-term deal?
Oh, that's oh God. I think Gini, he's another one. He deserved a new contract because I think, you know, he'd shown time and time again how good he was for us, how many games he was available for. So I do think they've done him, just a little bit dirty. But then when you look at the business side of things, there's players that they want to bring through. So you have to kind of, you know, pick and choose. Like, is it worthwhile us giving this man a new contract, or are we going to really invest time in the young players we now see coming through? So, you know, it's a tough question, but
fair play, JB. You know, I want to move on now from Liverpool and City We haven't really spoken much about City, but we ain't got no City fans, so we can keep it moving. What I did want to talk about though is obviously today we've talked about the high quality that was on display. Now, Kojo, me and you support a club on the other side of Manchester, and you know, I said on Twitter, I said you can have all the best players, but that doesn't make you a good team. And right now, we're not looking like a good team. But I got you on the show today because I wanted to get somebody's point of view other than mine on what is going over there at Old Trafford, man. Talk to me. What did you? I don't know if you've managed to watch the game yet. I know you've seen the goals. Have you managed to watch the game yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you make of that performance?
It's same old. It's like hitting a broken record and just playing it all over and over again. You always with United this. What you said right there about having the good players and putting them in. I feel like to this day, United still they've got a squad again. They still don't know what to do with it. We can argue all day about. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Trust me. We can argue all day about whether Van der Beek should start games. We can argue all day whether Matic should play as a lone defensive midfielder. We can argue all day if Martial should start or Rashford when he comes back should play left wing. Did we need Ronaldo? You can ask all these things. The results will still be the same. That Everton draw did not surprise me. We should have in fact lost that game. But if Tom Davies if he was selfish rather than unselfish and went for goal, Everton would have come away with a better result. And that's the same old for Man United, man. They got punished rightfully so against Aston Villa. Aston Villa better than them from beginning to end. They just about squeezed the result against Villarreal, a team that they lost to in the final. And then here we are again against Everton at home at Old Trafford, and you're looking at that and you're saying Everton deserved their point. And it's the same old kind of goals, and it shows that they're not learning anything. In the last 3 years under Solskjaer's management, we have conceded the same type of goals from set pieces and from open play. The goal that we conceded, on my life, I do not understand why Luke Shaw decided to join 3 of his other Man United players and leave his whole side unattended. It made no sense. It was not logical. And then the offside goal even scared me even more because from a set piece. And second balls are so key, by the way, because, I mean, that it's not a shot. Dan, obviously, with second balls today, that's why Brentford scored their winner. Man United, with a set piece, you clear it out, not far, by the way, you clear it out, and you have 5-6 man running to the same ball, like year 2 kids playing football at lunchtime, leaving Tom Davies by himself and being lucky that he tried to pass the ball to Yerry Mina, who was offside. So it's the same old, man. Man United I called them 2 years ago, I called them Gucci Everton. And the reason I called them Everton, and the only reason
that is so dumb. That is so.
But it makes sense, though. I know exactly what he means.
It does.
The Gucci's just in front of it just because you got money. That's what it is. Other than that, it's the same thing. Because Everton concede the same goals. Everton get loads of players week in every transfer window, spare lots of money, and don't progress. Man United do the same thing, except they can just instead of buying players for 20 million, they're paying 80. That's the difference, man. So look, at this point, I'm just tired. I can even shout Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and trust me, I got a lot of time for that. But there's a lot of bottlers in this team, and the manager is the chief bottler. But there's a lot of bottlers in general in this squad, and it ain't gonna get better. So I don't know what's next, bro. I genuinely don't know what's next, and I don't look excited to watch Man United games anymore. I was at work. I was excited to go to work on a Saturday instead of watching Man United. I got home in time for the Champions League game against Villarreal. I told my girl to slap on Netflix, just watch something on Netflix instead. That's how I feel right now about Man United Football Club. I don't have the energy for them no more. Yeah, and that's one question. Will I take Arteta over Ole? Jesus Christ, are you crazy?
Oh man, it's dire over there, man. It's dire. From I don't know if we've still got Dan with us. He looks like he's frozen a bit there. I was gonna ask to see what a neutral would say, but yeah, he looks like he's frozen over there. Pat, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you managed to see the game yesterday. What are your?
Yeah, no, I watched the game. I was watching it. Yeah, Mal and I watched it. We were happy to. Obviously, Malachi wanted to see Ronaldo play. So he was annoyed that Ronaldo didn't start. Obviously, Ronaldo was annoyed that he didn't start. You saw him at the end. He marched off down the tunnel uttering in Portuguese or Spanish or something. You didn't want to. Andros Townsend came up to him. He was having none of it. So it's Ollie needs to. Ollie's not the manager for you guys, isn't it? As much as I'm as a neutral. I'm always happy to give a manager time to see how it pans out. And I think Ollie's hit his glass ceiling. He's done fantastically well to steady the ship. You guys are a solid outfit now. You're definite top 4 candidates. Obviously, you want to push on now and start winning things and challenge for the league. And he's not the manager that's going to do that for you. It's harsh, but it's the reality. If you're not good enough, sooner or later, you need to get chopped. And there's world-class managers out there that can take you to that next level. But it's not going to be him. And you can see it against a depleted Everton, by the way. Everton didn't have Richarlison. They didn't have Calvert-Lewin. And I think there was someone else missing. There was one other big player missing. And they still came and balled out. Everton should have won that game, in my opinion. They were the better team. So, obviously you scored the goal first against the run of play. Brilliant take by Martial. That was a nice goal just before half time. So obviously you had that. You went in with the momentum. But second half came and Everton pretty much after about 10 minutes, they were sticking on you guys again and they were good value for their goal. And you shouldn't be getting outplayed at Old Trafford. And I think there was a stat by Rio saying that you guys have lost so many points or dropped so many points at home. Away from home, you've been brilliant. But Old Trafford should be a fortress, especially with the players and the amount of money you've invested. And again, it seems really weird. Players like Donny van der Beek can't get a game. Jadon Sancho's in and out of the team. I don't think his man management of the youngsters is as good as it. It could be better. Man United are always going to be a dangerous team with the players you got, but it's because of the players. It's not because of the manager. I don't really see a tactic. I don't see a pattern of play. Even when you look at Brighton against Arsenal, look how they're set up. Look how they're moving the ball around. And that's with, Brighton, with no disrespect. They haven't got the players that, most of the teams have got, but they're still, you see what the manager's implementing. So I don't see that from Ollie. So yeah, if I was you guys, I'd be as frustrated as you are because I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, man. There's a few questions. We're going to get them answered, people. I see there's some questions in the comments. Dan, I wanted to get your thoughts because obviously we've played West Ham twice in recent weeks, beat you once, lost once in the Cup. And again, in both games, I thought West Ham were well worth getting things out of those games. What do you make of what you're seeing at Man United? Because obviously there's no denying that we've got great players now. But we're just not playing good football. And to be fair, West Ham played us off the park in pretty much both games.
Yeah, it was one of them, especially, the league game. I've said if Antonio's playing, we win that game with the chances we created. And then almost good for a point. But, decision to bring on Noble ultimately cost us the game. And you just look at it like with the players that you've got, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Look, Kojo, I've said to Kojo for a while about Ollie, give him time, relax, you give him another window, see what happens. He's had his time and it's time to go now. It's done. Look at Watford. Watford are 14th in the league, 7 points, 3 points off of the top 8, and they're sacking managers. This is supposed to be big Manchester United, right? Triple winners, and 19 league titles. All of this, right? And you're still persisting with a guy who hasn't won anything. And I think what Patrick said was right. He's done a good job. He steadied the ship. The ship is steady. Now it's time to hand it over to an elite captain for that ship. So yeah, I just look at Man United. I don't fear playing Man United. I remember back in the day when you used to get Man United and you used to basically feel like, well, that's a loss. Boy, we're going to be lucky to even come out of anything. You just knew you'd be just getting battered. Now I look at Man United and I think, yeah, we can win that. It's one of them, I almost don't know what to expect from a Man United game, so I don't fear it. I feel like either we'll win or they'll snatch it. I never feel like we're going to get turned over from Man United. I haven't felt like that probably since Ferg. So it's time to get an elite manager inside. This is what is it now? 2 weeks for international break. It's time. This is a perfect time to do it. But this is the problem with the Glazers. I don't think they've got that ambition to get Man United back to where they want to be. It's mad. It's absolutely crazy to see, really. And like you said, you're just going to end up being like that team you're going to be like Arsenal, under Wenger in his later years. You're going to be like that, like, cool, we got top 4. Let's celebrate top four. And then you get in the Champions League and don't do anything in it. You just get slapped by,
Exactly. What's the point in being there and not really competing, because we've not started off well in the Champions League either this season? There's a few questions, Kojo, and I know you're going to have to leave soon, so I'm going to get your perspective on some of these, and then we'll move on from Man United. But this is a very important one because it's something that I've been discussing with many people over the last few weeks about our coaching staff. What do you make of the coaching methods of Carrick and McKenna and co? Obviously, we can't necessarily see exactly what they are coaching, but they are a part of the whole setup. What is your take on that question there?
I don't really talk on them too much because I don't actually know what part they play. I mean, I know Ole's come out and said that he doesn't really take charge of training. The coaches do. But the thing for me is, all right, that's one side of it, but then you take control of the team. So where is their what is their actual role? Are you giving them instructions of what to do in training and then they implement it? Are they coaching a style that you want to play, or they think United should play? Because ever since Carrick got the job under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I remember the first thing he said was he went to a training session. He told Pogba, if you are like, you've got the ability to take the ball and just run past players and create something out of nowhere, like, do it a lot more. But then when you see Pogba play, it's clear the instructions either play deeper as a centre midfielder and dictate from there, or play sort of wide-ish if you're a bit more forward. So there must be a clash. I don't talk about them too much because I don't know if they're to blame for what's happening. Unfortunately for Ole, the situation is, as a manager, you're always going to be the front face of what's happening at the club. So you'll be the first in line for the sack. And then the club will decide whether they want to sack the other coaches with you, or they'll ask the coaches whether you want to stay or not. That's just what it is. But I just don't know what to say about them. I'm genuinely hoping that, because I know a bit about McKenna, and McKenna was doing a lot more work with the 23s and under 18s before, and it was all about attacking football, and there was more sort of like different types of players, triangles, moving the ball fast, moving the ball forward. So when you saw those teams play, you saw United fans get excited on social media, you saw videos of goals, and you're thinking, oh yeah, this is what we want to play, this is what we're seeing. But then we come to the first team now, and it's something completely different. I don't know what their role is. I'd rather not criticize them until I fully know. But what I would say is, I feel they need help. I feel like they need help in there. If they're the only two coaches, and Mike Phelan, who, by the way, is a big fan of the Longstaffs. Yeah. Unless I think they need help, because if he wants to be like Sykes Ferguson, like this whole, we'll let my coaches do the thing. Every now and then, Sykes Ferguson changes coaches. When something wasn't working, he noticed something. So, like, cool, let's bring someone else in. Can't be afraid to make these things. And he had a lot of coaches as well. It wasn't just Melin's team one year and then Kiro's the other year. It was a collective.
Yeah.
I see two men in there. We signed a set piece coach, and we're conceding goals from set pieces. So that's going great. So I don't know who's to blame, but Ole is the big man in front, and until he sorts out what's going on, I don't know. And finally, quickly, benching your top goal scorer and your chief creator. Listen, Guantanamo Bay is waiting for him. That's
no, honestly, that's a sackable offence though. At home to a depleted Everton, and you end up dropping points. You should get sacked for that, man. On top of everything else, it's criminal. Like,
wasn't that team good enough to win the game though?
Still,
no, yeah, but that's the point though.
You win the game first.
It is good enough to win the game.
Just saying, you don't need Ronaldo to beat Everton.
No, bro, but the issue is, I'm not even talking about. It's not about just Ronaldo. It's the fact that it's the whole sort of like, I'll say it like this. We played Freddie McTominay again, and we had no defensive cover. So clearly it's not working. So this isn't just an Everton thing. This is a long-term thing. So the reason why I mentioned those guys is because quite clearly, even though you just said, do you need those guys to beat them? The answer is yes. The answer is actually yes. Scarily enough, the answer is yes.
Fred is terrible, by the way.
Martial is a good player. Greenwood is a good player. Who started up front as a Cavani, a good striker. And then you've got Rashford who will come back. You've got but they've been there before. It's been the same issue. Pogba's been there before, so he's part of that as well. But Ronaldo's come in and scored 5 goals. He saved you in the Champions League game. He's in form, and you bench him. I don't understand.
But isn't this the same squad that's finished in the league second 2 years in a row?
No, second and third. Third, and then second.
So yeah, so you can see the improvement. But what I say is, people say, yeah, you've improved progressively in terms of the league position. I'm like, but the gap between us and the team in first has always been double digits. We're not improving.
We're not.
We're still behind, you know. You can talk about Liverpool and how they struggled, but they won a league title 2 years ago, so they're fine.
But Kojo, just let me come in just quickly here. When people say that we've improved because they see a third place finish and a second place finish, they're not taking into context what's going on around them with the other teams. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I always said from the beginning of this season, we will see how much we've improved when everybody else is firing on all cylinders, and we'll see where we finish. And so far this season, we can clearly see when you look at Chelsea, when you look at Liverpool, when you look at Man City, and then you put Manchester United in this, every single person on here right now, if they're being honest, and Dan has even said it, he don't fear playing Manchester United, but he would have a little bit of fear if he's playing Liverpool, and we finished ahead of Liverpool last season. So it just goes to show, when you talk about progression, the eye test is very important. Let's not always look at league tables and stuff like that. The eye test is very important. And when you watch Manchester United play, we are so far behind even a Liverpool team who we finished above last season. Chelsea, we finished above last season. We're nowhere near them, and they've added Lukaku. We've added Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not having all of this progression talk. Sorry. Not having it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's very eye-opening, actually. The fact that you said that you finished above Liverpool, and like I said, if I look at Liverpool, I think, damn, we got Liverpool. Like, do you know what I mean? But I feel more like we can beat Man United than we can beat, and you got to look at the manager for that. And like I said, your midfield is atrocious. And I was thinking about this earlier on the Fred thing. I feel like, and you kind of feel like when a manager's near the end is when they have that player that they want to prove everyone that they're right about. And even though all of the fans are like, why are you still playing that player? They're digging their heels in. And he's going to persist with Fred until he's proved him right. Because he's just being stubborn on it, and it's just really crazy to see. But that's going to cost him his job if the Glazers have anything about them anyway.
Will they sack him? I don't see them sacking him.
Well, let me just quickly interject. I know, Kojo, you got to leave soon. When are you got to leave, actually, Kojo?
15 minutes.
Okay, cool. So check our fixtures, people. This is our fixtures after the international break. Yeah. We've got Leicester away. Then we've got Atlanta at home in the Champions League. Then Liverpool at home, like a few days after. Then we've got Tottenham away the following week. Atlanta away in the Champions League. Then we've got Manchester City. We've got Manchester City at home. Then we've got Watford away, which is never easy. Then we've got Villarreal away, which we've already seen. That's not going to be easy. Then we've got Chelsea away. And then we've got Arsenal at home on the 30th of November. So this is between now and the end of November. That's what our run is. Because one thing that people don't realize as well is when people might say, oh, well, they're not going to sack Ollie because he's sitting close to the top and all of this stuff. We haven't played nobody yet. Chelsea have played bare teams. Liverpool have played, but even Tottenham have played big teams. Arsenal have played big teams. Manchester United, we've only played Everton, Aston Villa, and who's the other one? West Ham. We beat West Ham, we've lost to Aston Villa, and we've drew with Everton. So they're the 3 big teams we've played, and we've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 1. So this is why our run is the way it is now, because now we've got to face all the bigger teams. Boy, you know what? What do you look?
If Ollie gets through those games, like if Ollie got through those games somehow, are you still Ollie out?
I am still. Let me actually let me just come correct now. I am not Ollie out. Like I'm saying, get Ollie out the club. It's not even like that. What I'm saying is I've always maintained this, is that I respect Ollie for what he has done for the club. So I'm not going to be disrespectful in how some people treat and talk about him. Do you know what I mean? And I respect what he's done. We're in the best position that we've been in since Fergie. So I'm like, I take on board what he's done for the rebuild and all of that stuff. But I am like, for us to progress now to the next level, for challenging league titles and challenging for the Champions League, we need an elite coach. Like what Dan said, we need somebody now to take over who has the credentials, who is able to manage the squad and play the type of football that we want to play and get the results that we need to get. So I do feel that Ollie needs to move on for that to happen. I don't want to...
Even if you win all of those games, to me, you could win all of those games and he still needs to go.
Yeah, because it's about consistency throughout the course of 38 games. And we've seen this last season. We had another sticky patch around November time where I personally thought Ollie will get sacked there. And we came through. We beat PSG, we beat Leipzig, we beat Newcastle, we drew with Chelsea. He got through that sticky period. But ultimately, we finished second, didn't nowhere near challenging for the title really. And we lost in the Europa League final. We got knocked out in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. And we got knocked out in the semi-finals, I think it was, of Carabao Cup. Ultimately, it's still we're not getting us to where we get to. So he can come through this set of games. But come the end of the season, I do not believe we are going to be where we need to be. So that's my take on it.
Need trophies, man.
I just realised you're talking about PSG and Leipzig, and I was like, wait, you said Europa League, and I was like, oh yeah, group stages, mad.
We was in the Champions League last season, Kojo. We was. What do you think, Kojo, about this comment here? Fullbacks aren't dynamic enough at United. They had nothing against the low block. Do you think that's a bit of an issue for us, our fullbacks?
Yeah, that's a huge issue, man. I don't think. Well, who was our last direct fullback? Antonio Valencia, maybe. I think is that as far as we go in? Because after Valencia, it was Wan-Bissaka. Am I correct? Yeah. And the one I affectionately called the Thickums, Luke Shaw.
Wow.
Oh, he's meaty, man. He's meaty.
Yo, so what podcast is this again?
No, look. If I'm being
That's
real,
a good point, by the way. That's a good point. No Calvert-Lewin, no Richarlison.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, look. It's a big problem because I think it's not even about the whole Trent. It's not a comparison to Trent or Hakimi or Robertson. Or you just need something extra going forward from your fullback. Sometimes that's all it is. Especially when you have someone like Sancho and if it's Rashford and Martial, they always have to cut inside. So ideally, just one extra threat for someone that just goes down the side. Wan-Bissaka doesn't do that enough, and Luke Shaw has done it recently. But if anyone's being real, this season so far he's been poor. So he's not been bringing that either. So
he started off poor.
Yeah, he started off poor so far. So look, it is a problem. It's been a problem for a while. I don't know who I would want to be my solution as signings. I can't bring you names right now if I'm being honest, but it is an issue. If we're going to break down low blocks, we need to, bring in more dynamic fullbacks and start Pogba and not bench him because, I don't know what the hell that's about.
Kojo, before you go, can I ask you a question? This is a great question from Richie T, Big Rich. So shout out Big Rich. But I want you guys to answer. So Kojo, then JB, then Dan Lawless. So not Tottenham fans. Look at this question, look at this statement. Eye test. I like this. So obviously, he's referring to what Sem said about Man United. Richie's an Arsenal fan. He says, remember this eye test argument in the next Arsenal discussion. So when you guys watching Arsenal right now, have they improved? And on the eye test, would you say that they're going in the right direction? I want you guys to answer it as well.
We weren't meant to be talking about Arsenal just yet, Pat. we'll do that then.
No. They haven't improved because they went and beat Tottenham 3-1 and immediately went and struggled badly against Brighton. And the thing is, with Arsenal, they've got a good level of players in the team, but it's the same old story with them. It's the same thing with a lot of clubs. Man United, Arsenal, you can go on and on and on. You don't have a game like last season. Was it last season or season before when they went with a losing streak, a crazy one. They went to Old Trafford and suddenly turned up for the occasion and got their 1-0 victory, and it was back to form again. That doesn't count as improving. Improving is when you see Arsenal actually elevate and find a run of form where it's good, and they start becoming maybe from 8th to challenging for the Europa League spot, rather than saying, the season's done. Arsenal fans know it. So if they're asking people this question, quite frankly, the answer should be ask yourself, because you know what happens. You know what happens, man. This is not new. This is football heritage. Mourinho told you. It's football heritage, bro. This is something that happens. You beat Mourinho once, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I told you. I think they should be happy because they faced me one of these times, and it's one time, so of course it's heritage, man. Man United, Gucci, Everton, Woolwich, it's all the same, man. They all do the same thing. So there you go.
Don't worry, we'll come back to this question and let the rest of you have your say. But this question, Kojo, before you go, last question on this Manchester United topic now, because I think it's an important one. Is Greenwood? I was at the game against West Ham. I thought Greenwood came on and was very good. But then there is the argument about him being quite greedy, not releasing the ball. What are your thoughts on him so far this season, and also what his position is? Because obviously he's out there playing on the right, and he's keeping Sancho from playing in the position that I thought we bought him for as well. It's really weird. But
yeah, he's a striker for me. I think every time I've been asked this question, it stays the same. He came through the rank as a striker. The reason why we rated him, because he was a gunman. He's still got the traits of a gunman, and if he's out wide being greedy, well, what do you expect? That's it. Strikers want goals. He's hungry for goals. For me, I don't understand why people don't grab that. Strikers breathe for goals, and if your striker doesn't breathe goals, it's not a striker. He is a striker, so that's his best position. I'm hoping eventually he takes that spot, and then that's about it really for me, man. He's a striker all day.
Wicked. I hear that, man. All right, you can bounce whenever you want to. We'll move on from Manchester United now. Move on to West Ham. Let's discuss, because West Ham,
Kojo's second team, by the way.
Yeah.
He's getting a season ticket soon.
West Ham were fighting relegation a few seasons back, and then last season they done their thing. And this season, they've started off well as well. Dan, how are you feeling so far? Obviously, you're going to be disappointed about today's result. How are you feeling in general about West Ham's season so far?
Yeah. Let me try and put the frustration from today out of my head so I can look at the season as a whole. And yeah, I think we've started the season well. Like, Antonio's been on fire. He's got to be the most informed striker in the league in Europe, I think. So recently he was like banging in goals and assists in all competitions. Declan Rice is playing really well. We've scored 4 in the Europa League, conceded 0. So we've got off to a really good start. And like I said, like, today was our second loss since the start of May. So We're not really losing many games, and the Man United game, again, that was very, very fine margins. Today was the first time where I was really, really annoyed with our performance. There's other things I was annoyed with, but it's the first time. But I think as a whole, I think we've got a strong squad. We've got a very strong squad. It's just about energy levels and fitness is my concern with all of the games we've got coming up. To have to go out and, like Carabao Cup first game, we're playing Man United at Old Trafford, and now we've got like Man City. Like, we're not getting any luck with draws and things like that. So it's really pushing us.
Yeah, that's annoying, man. What happened in today's game then? Obviously, you were at home. I didn't see the game, but on the balance of play, was it a justified result for Brentford to get 3 points, or?
I said this on our review show. Yeah, I said they didn't deserve to win, but we deserve to lose, just because of how poor we were at times and our game management and things like that. It was just like we didn't make any substitutions. I don't understand. This is the problem. We're back to that with Moyes. That was always my problem with Moyes, is the lack of substitutions. And when you've got players that are playing like Thursday, Sunday, you need to bring on some fresh legs badly. We had Vlasic warming up, ready to come on. We scored the equalizer. He sits him back down. And you're like, come on, man. Like, we need some fresh legs. You can see Rice is getting cramp. You can see Antonio's tired. Souček's tired. Soufal, his worst game in a West Ham shirt today, tired. And like he just came back from an injury as well. So Moyes needs to not be running the team into the ground. But I have to say, the way Brentford played today, I thought it was a bit embarrassing. Look, you can go to a ground and you can park the bus. That's fine. That's all well and good. But to score a winner, you know, they scored the opening goal, which is against the run of play, all of that stuff, and just went over the line, and then go, right, 20 minutes. Okay, for the rest of the game, we're going to time waste, right? We're going to slowly take goal kicks. We're going to, you know what I mean? Like, if you've got a throw, we're going to smack the ball out of your hand. We're going to do everything we can to drag this out. That's pathetic. That's embarrassing. Like, really, you've got that much time left in the game, 70 minutes. You're going to time waste for all of that time. By all means, put everyone behind the ball and park the bus. But you're going to literally, your fans have come to pay money. Everyone's come to pay money to watch football. And you're going to just waste everybody's time. Ultimately, it worked. I mean, they're one of the dirtiest sides I've seen in a long time. I mean, I'm not trying to be salty. Look, it comes across that way. It does. I know, like, look.
I'm glad you said it, boy.
I know everyone's thinking it. I have to. But no, like, I don't know if any of you guys watch, but as a neutral, like, imagine, because you see that against yours, it's like, you know, so they're making a lot of tactical fouls. That's Man City do it. That's if you want to do it. It's just all of them things add up. But it's the time wasting is what I can't stand for. It's cool if you want to be defensive, you want to be pragmatic, you want to be a bit dirty, make your tactical fouls like Man City do. That's one thing, but to waste time for 70 minutes is a joke. Play football, man. Play the game, and that frustrated me. So it made it difficult, and we kept, for some reason, we kept pumping up long balls today, and they've got giant players. I don't know why we was doing that. We play football. I think maybe because we were tired. We decided to pump up long balls. Yeah, the whole game just pissed me off, like, from start to finish. Moyes got it wrong today. Moyes should have brought on some. Vlasic has got a ton of energy, and ultimately, look, we ended up paying for it at the last kick of the ball with that. And Kojo said it earlier, not winning second balls. Usually, we've been pressing teams, and it's been working for us. And no press.
But again, you know, the weekend after Europa League is never easy. So it's a bit weird to hear that he didn't make substitutions when you're off the back of a Europa League game, man. It's kind of mad.
Yeah.
Was he trying to just use the form of the Europa League and run that into the league? Because I think when you think about it from that perspective, it kind of makes sense. I know what you're saying in terms of, like, it's Thursday, Sunday, or like the Thursday, Saturday, and, you know, but in terms of keeping that core team together and pushing them through, and in the hope that you get like a good run of games with this team, and, you know, you get the best out of them. And that's, I personally, that's what he was trying to do. I get it.
Yeah, he looks at this today. That's our strongest lineup. He has his core team, a group of players that he trusts. The problem is whenever we sign players, he takes a long time to start to really play him and bring him through. He done the same with Bowen when he first joined. Done it with Ben Rama, all of that. Like, he takes his time, and when you've got this many games, we haven't got time. Like, Declan Rice has played so much football from last season all the way through to the Euros. We had an international break before, I think, didn't we? We've had one already, and now we've got another one coming up. Antonio obviously went away with Jamaica. Like, we know fitness has always been his weakness, but Souček and Soufal played in the Euros. Like, but I just think that's the point. Like, he'll just go, look, these players, regardless, I trust these players, and I'm gonna push on with them no matter what. And you look at the Europa League game, like, did Declan Rice really need to play that game? We brought in Krul. Did Antonio really need to play that game? We want to take it seriously, but you have to rotate. We have to. It concerns me that I'm seeing these energy levels. This we're in, what was it, beginning of October?
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of the season left to play. And we've and Declan Rice is going to go away with England. Antonio's going to go away with Jamaica. Souček going to go with Czech Republic now and play more games. Like when are we going to ease up on these teams? And if we somehow beat Man City in the cup, we got more games. So it's I don't know, man. Moyes, he's done well, but he frustrates me. He really frustrates me. Like,
what about this question here or comment? Oh, it would be a question. Any young players coming through at West Ham? Their academy used to be serious.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson. In fact, I don't know why Ben Johnson didn't even play today. Young Ben Johnson, he's a right back. He had an excellent game against Vienna on Thursday. Can play either on the right or the left. If Soufal was coming back from injury, not 100%. Yeah, that was his. Yeah, it was terrible today. Just put Ben Johnson in that position. I thought he was so good, man. Defensively solid the other day, and play him. So he's a good player. We got Odebeku, who's another really good player, striker. You might not remember, but he played against Man United last season in the cup. And then he got subbed off, which another thing I thought was terrible from Moyes. So yeah, there's a lot of little promising young players there, but it's all about when they're going to come through. No, there's not many that are like ready that you can see he's going to play. Oko Flex actually is someone we've been looking to see. Signed him from a young player we signed from Celtic. So there's players there.
Cool. Yeah. JB, where Brentford, man? I've been quite impressed with them in terms of what they're doing in the league so far. Where do you think? I thought Brentford are going to be. Every season we get one of those promoted teams. Do you think Brentford are going to be that team this season?
Yeah, like I think obviously the game that we had with them, we drew 3-3, and I thought they played really well. And
wait, they didn't do any of that dirty tactics against you guys. They didn't do the time wasting, the tactical
they actually tried to play football. Like, I'll be honest. Like, and I think going back to what you were saying earlier, I think they were just doing what they needed to do. In my opinion, I think they're going to just be a very pragmatic team in the sense of they're just going to try and get as many points as possible and do whatever they need to do to.
Does that mean
to
they
win
fear
a game?
us more than you? Is that what we're saying?
Maybe. Who knows?
We can play football against Liverpool, but we got to try.
What have you got at the end of the day? When you can look at it like this, right? What have they got to lose by not playing football against us? Because technically, they're going to go into that game thinking that they might lose the game anyway. Does that kind of make it might benefit them? 100%. Well, and the low block, obviously, but back to Sam's question. I think that Brentford will be okay this season. They've started really, really well. And if you notice, especially with the teams that end up staying up, they always seem to have a quite a decent start to the season. Then they tend to fall off, but that start tends to hold them up towards the end of the season. So if they can get enough points now, and then if they do get picked off at the end of the season, then hopefully they've accumulated enough to keep them up. So yeah, man.
Pat, where do you think Brentford could finish top 8 this season?
Top 8? Nah, not top 8. I think they'll be all right. I don't think they're going to get relegated. I think I've seen enough from them, and they've got a quality strike force. They've got good players in the attacking third.
Top 10?
I think they're probably about 15th, 16th, something like that. That's probably realistic for them.
What, that far down?
Above Arsenal? Wow.
When you look at it, actually, today showed from what JB was saying with how they played against Liverpool and how they played with us, they've actually got more than one way of playing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, so they know and tactically, whether I like it or not, the manager got it spot on, and he got it spot on against Liverpool. So they obviously
against Arsenal as well. Don't forget, Arsenal.
Obviously they beat Arsenal 2-0. He's obviously got the ability to look at teams and set up the right and look and count them. So that's going to get them far. How far we'll see, but I think they could be good for a mid-table finish at least.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and especially as well, guys, like with a lot of the promoted teams, there's always a point where they get found out in the season. then you start seeing a lot of the L's and the draws. Does that make sense? But I think there's still there's still technically an unknown entity to a lot of teams. So I think once we get a chance of seeing them play like week in, week out, I think a lot of the coaches will work out how to play against them and potentially beat them, obviously. So yeah.
And Tony hasn't even really got going. I mean, he's not been poor. Like he's a handful, but he hasn't got off the blocks with the goals. So once he kind of finds
a step up, boy. It's a step up.
And you think, like, obviously, look, he's new to this league, and if he does find his feet and start finding the back of the net, that's another huge thing. But he's still influencing games. Yeah. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him. Yeah. But yeah, I that was honestly, I hated watching that game. It was horrible. It was a horrible game to watch. It was awful. But I never want to experience that again. So I'm not looking forward to having to go through that and playing them again. I wanted Brentford to go up, but if they're going to keep doing that against us, they can go straight back down. I can't. You guys, I hope they play it like that against you. You guys need to try and watch it, but I hope they do it against your teams, because that's when you really feel it, when you're playing against that. Like, and you're like, this is horrible.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Pat, you got the floor, man. You lot got 3 points. You bounced back after the Arsenal, the North London derby loss. What was the performance like today from Spurs? Was it a lot better? Or was it just one of those ones where it's just good to get 3 points?
Nah, you know what? To be fair, first and foremost, shout out to coys.com for the hoodie. It's really comfy, fits well, and I appreciate the hookup on that. So yeah, wore it today to the ground, got a few compliments. So thank you very much, coys.com. Appreciate it. And in regards to the game, no, we played really well today, man. 2-1 flattered them. We could have had a couple more. Sonny was on bits today. Sonny looked like the old Son. He was running at players, taking them on, creating problems. Kane looked hungry and at it as well. Even though he didn't score, he had a few good chances, but he looked, his body language, he was chasing balls down. He was, making an effort. Emerson Royale was, at right back. He was taking his man on as well and not always passing backwards like we've seen him do in the other games. Ndombele had a decent game, but again, he started passing backwards at the beginning of the game, but then as he grew into the game, he started running forward. Højbjerg played really well today. He scored the first goal, nice tidy finish, but he was influential in the middle of the pitch. But to be fair, a lot of players just stepped up, and we played a good game, man. It was a different intensity from Tottenham. From the beginning, we took the game to them. I think we had like 60% possession in the first half, but it was quality possession. And in the second half, we went at them. They scored, and then we pretty much came straight back and scored again. And then we were trying to score again and again. And yeah, it was a good performance, man. When you guys catch it, you'll see it was it was basically a team that knew they could beat the team. They're better than the other team, and they took it to them. Aston Villa, to their credit, it was a bit like what Dan said about Brentford. They were time wasting from the beginning. When they had a throw in, one player would pick it up, then all of a sudden someone's running from the halfway line to come and get the ball to them, throw it in. Goalkeeper taking ages on goal kicks, stretching, putting the ball down and running back, and then so they were time wasting from day dot. But after they went a goal down, they were still doing it. I'm like, this don't make sense. You're behind. You need to chase the game. But then when they scored, again, they started time wasting. But yeah, they got what they deserved. But to be fair, Spurs were a lot better. When you see it, you will see that it was a different Tottenham today, which is good.
Okay, cool. Now there's a bit of a lag on your screen and thing. So I thought you were still talking, but you'd actually finished about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, he must have just been sitting there like why is everyone silent?
Yeah.
We're blown away by that analysis. That's what it
is. There's a question here. Would you rather have cashed in on Kane for 100 or 120, whatever it was, and improved the rest of the squad, Pat? Because I heard that Kane had another poor game. What's your?
Nah, he didn't. He didn't have a poor game. He played well. Nah, he didn't score, but he had a good game, man. He was great. There was one instance where I thought that was hella selfish. Basically, he had a shot on goal. The keeper saved it. Then he kind of ran back and Son was through. All he had to do was square it to him. It's a definite goal. But he tried to chip the keeper from a really tight angle. And then afterwards, he kind of ran back sheepishly smirking. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, it was a blatant goal if he passed it. It was like, you can see, when a striker is searching for that goal in it, and they're being greedy. But other than that, he had a good game, man. Honestly, so
but like we're in October now, no goals and assists in the
yeah,
league for
exactly.
Harry
I mean,
Kane, man, that's poor.
It is poor. We all know what's going on there. He's had a poor start to the season, but to be fair to him today, he didn't have a poor game. But obviously, it's still no goals and assists, and that's what people will look at. Would we have cashed in? Yes, if the money came, if the bid came in. The bid didn't come in. We definitely discussed this last week. The second bid didn't ever come in. There was no real concrete bid. So, in hindsight, but at the time I was saying no as well. I said no, keep Harry Kane and you go again, because if we were to sell Harry Kane, would we get in a player of his quality or near enough his quality? No. And then it's like, where do you get these goals from? In terms of the Nuno in comment, no. I still feel exactly the same about Nuno, but he's doing what he needs to do. At the end of the day, he won the game. It's a better performance. He made some substitutions at the right time again today. We played 7, won 4, lost 3. It's okay. It's a decent-ish start. But obviously the manner in which the games that we've lost, it's not a bad start, but it's the losses. They've been really poor. We got smashed 3-0 by Crystal Palace. Obviously smashed, was it 3-0 by Chelsea or 3? And then obviously Arsenal one was really bad. So, but when you take a step back, first time he's managed the team, he's had a lot of issues in the summer. He's played 7, won 4. It's not that bad, but it could be better, isn't it? So
I think the fact that that you're not scoring that many goals and you are where you are at the moment, you're on 12 points. I think that's all right. I think, and I said this in the group the other day, I think me personally, I think once Kane does get off the mark, I don't think he stops scoring. So, it's just getting that groove back again for him and just getting
because you don't think it can't be Nuno's fault, really. You can't blame Nuno for Kane being off the ball.
Not
really. That's I kind of feel sorry for him, really, that your biggest asset is just not with it. He's come in and Kane's just off it, really.
Yeah. But what I would say to that though, Dan, is though they would know, and I don't know anyway, but I'm speculating here that they would know the severity of the issue, or behind the scenes of what happened with Kane in the summer, Daniel Levy. And I'm just thinking that, the position that Harry Kane was in, it probably was never a good thing to keep him. Like, his mind wasn't probably in it, and they probably should have cashed in. Now, I don't know about the whole what bids came in, what was going on, all of that. It's all speculation at the end of the day. But, when we just say that, obviously it's hard to think that your key man is going to start poorly. Maybe they should have known this, reading between the lines, because of what happened in the summer. It's just my thoughts.
I agree. I think they should have cashed in. Like, if this 120 million bid came in, then they should have cashed in. Even 100 mil. When you look at it and they think, okay, we believe he's worth 150, and maybe you should, but for the greater good and to keep things moving and to invest, they should have took them. Really, look, I'm gonna go back to the Grealish thing. They should have spent the money. If they spent the money on Kane instead of Grealish, Man City are good for that, looking good for that Champions League.
Yeah. If Man City had Kane in that team today, first half they're 2 or 3-0 up.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
No doubt about that.
That's what I'm saying. Why do you splash? You want to splash the money down on Grealish? They could have left Grealish and paid 150 for Kane, and then they're guaranteeing Premier League. They got a good shot at the Champions League, but that's what they should have. It's an interesting one as well with the Arsenal game, because I think that stung for a lot of Spurs fans, and that went on to Nuno. But I've seen so many North London derbies, right, where Spurs go to the Emirates and the players just perform like Sunday League, like even under Poch. It's disgraceful. Like, I think it's disgraceful that they can go to the Emirates at one of their biggest games of the season and not turn up, and then now they want to turn up. Like, that's a disgrace, knowing what the game means to the fans. I can't believe how bad they were last week, and now you want to come and show you can play football, and they may probably end up finishing above Arsenal again, but you should be going there and you should be rising to the occasion like it's a cup final. I know it's a joke people say or whatever, but when it's a London derby, or any derby, the stakes are high. You need to play it like it's a final.
Yeah, well said
to the fans.
Well said. And sorry, Sam. So I was going to say that interjects into the whole point, because I said it last week I said Arsenal always raised their game at the Emirates. You know, these lot were jumping on me. You can see that we're the better team now, and this and that. And I said I agree. Today you were the better team, but over the course of a season, exactly what I said. Over the course of a season, will you beat your Leicesters? Will you beat your Brightons, etc.? There's like, yeah, we will. And then look what happened. They dropped points straight away. So it's exactly what we were saying. And you know, it will be interesting. Obviously, Arsenal, you know, they believe that they've improved, but from what I've seen, I wouldn't really say so. And
well, let's segue into that, Pat. Yeah. Let's segue into obviously Arsenal drawing 0-0 with Brighton away, and Brighton were by far the better team in that game.
By far, they played them off the park, and Arsenal were quite lucky. That's a game where Arsenal fans will sit back and say, you know what, I'm glad we got the point. Let's move on. There's really nothing other than the fact that they kept a clean sheet and got a point. Other than that, they weren't good. They weren't good yesterday. But let's hear what you guys have got to say about it. And JB, did you watch the game? Did you catch it?
I didn't watch the game, but in relation to your earlier question about, you know, have Arsenal improved, you know, and I think the answer is plain and simple, no. I think in the time that Arteta was joining the club, in my opinion, they haven't moved forward. Not to the degree that Arsenal should move forward and be moving like a big club. I think the results speak for themselves. The fans, we hear them every day on Twitter, on Instagram, like they speak for themselves. And like, you know, until there are major changes at that club, they will continue to kind of float in this space of uncertainty and not being where they believe that they should be. So no is the answer to that question from earlier. Yeah.
Emery was a better manager. I don't understand it. I think they've gone backwards from Emery. He scored more goals. Okay, they leaked more goals, but now they struggle to score goals, and they still leak some goals completely. And I've always said that Arteta is not the guy. They didn't want to listen, and then it's this same thing of, okay, it's Arteta out until we get like a few wins in a row. All of a sudden, we're back. We've got our Arsenal back. That's what it right. Remember when Emery went on that little run? It was, we've got our Arsenal back. Then they go and get slapped. And then all of a sudden it's Emery out and Kroenke out. And this is the same thing with Arteta. There's such short, and this doesn't go to everyone. It's not all Arsenal fans, but a large vocal group of them are so short-sighted that they can only see a few games, can't see past a few run of results. It's like, you know, so they'll go, and if they go and lose next week, all of a sudden things are looking bad again, and they're worried. But then they'll go and get maybe a draw at Old Trafford, and it's like, take your time with it and all of this business. They just need to relax, and you can't keep flip-flopping from result to result. Arteta is not the guy. He really is not the guy. He flattered with that FA Cup win. You finish in 8th 2 seasons in a row, and now Arsenal are looking at their. I mean, some of the ones that were saying top 4 is on. You're having an absolute laugh. You really are, because literally, it's Europa League is their aim. Their aim and objective is to get into the Europa League, and for Arsenal, that's embarrassing. That's a sad indictment of where they are as a football club. That their ambition really should be to get into the Europa League, and that just shows you they wanted Wenger was getting them top 4.
This is what they wanted. This is what they wanted, though, right? This is what they wanted.
Yeah,
this is what they wanted, isn't it? Those years of qualifying for the Champions League, and I guess not moving forward as a club, and you know, this is what you asked for. So
they got
make your bed and you lie in it.
Think about it. They got Wenger out, and then they got Emery, and they dropped a bit. They declined a bit. They got Emery out, and then they declined a bit more. It's like, right, what's going on if they get Arteta out? Maybe that's why some of them are like, Arteta in. They're going to keep going so they get in the relegation.
But you know what? You make a really good point, because you were talking earlier about how, you know, that they're quite short-sighted. But you know what? I think that's the desperate fan in all of us. That we just, you take the little things and you kind of blow them up. And I know it takes someone with a bit of sense and you know, to look at things from a wider, you know, from outside the box almost, if you know, if that kind of makes sense. So, you know, I think they're quite desperate for those little wins and draws, and they think they're moving forward. But then when you look at it on a bigger scale, it doesn't seem to be what they believe it is. So
I think
it's quite scary.
I think after last week, they were obviously, they were well within their rights to celebrate the North London derby win in the manner in which they won it. But to be fair to Dash, who was on the show, he did say next week we have to go and beat Brighton. We will celebrate today. It's a North London derby, but we have to go and beat Brighton next week. And then what we saw was they went to Brighton, and it's like raw. It's like chalk and cheese. Like, you played Spurs off the park in the first half last week, and then this week Brighton are doing a number on you. And then it just makes you realize exactly what you're saying, JB, is that they haven't really progressed. And we will know if they've progressed when we get to around Christmas. You know what I mean? We'll see where they are then to know whether they've progressed or not. Not
form
after
goes out the window in a derby. They know this. They know form goes out the window. They say it. We're going into it. Form goes out the. Every time they're crap and Spurs come up, they go, well, we've got a chance because form goes out the window. So if form goes out the window for a derby, you have to look at the result in a vacuum. You can't beat Spurs like where you've been crap and all of a sudden you beat Spurs and all of a sudden you're top 4 contenders. That's not how it works when form goes out the window. Because when you go and play Brighton, your crap form comes back.
Yeah,
you can't. You know what I mean? That's a schizophrenic way of looking at things. So it's like they always try and this is what as a football fan, right? I'm not there to put out propaganda or play politics and try and make things look better than they are. I look at my team and I call it exactly how I see it. Even if we win, I look at negatives and I try and be realistic about where we're going to go and what we're going to do. Even if we have a big win, you try and stay grounded. They don't do that. They have to play politics. They have to try and manipulate the facts. And at the end of the day, they are where they are. And when it comes to the end of the season, they can get a big win and they can say, look, we got this win and we've got improvement here. You're still going to be finishing 8th, 7th, whatever.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I've been seeing some of they've been raising their chest again on Twitter. Some of these Arsenal fans. I've just been watching in the background, boy. Just being all right. I see you because you lot are a funny bunch, man. But we'll keep it moving from then. Because me personally, I've always said, look, Harry. No, it wasn't this one. It was this one. Emery is a good manager. I just needed an interpreter.
Oh my God.
But we laugh at that. But I think the Arsenal fans made a real big deal of this, and the fact is that Emery was not given the same energy that Arteta's being given. They are giving this guy so much, and like you say, Dan, I'm exactly the same with Man United. These guys will tell you, I just keep it real. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not the hype man. I'm not going to talk up the things. I know where we are as a club and where we're going to be whilst we have our manager in charge. And Arsenal fans just seem like that some of them are just so blinded. And that's what I say. I know a few ties, around as well. And it's just a funny thing, man. But
no, look at Ashley's comment, right? And Ashley, I'm not saying he's not one of the ultra deluded ones, but even his comment, right? We lose this game last season. Do you know how many times last season I saw that comment where they'd go and they'd get a draw or they'd get a win? Well, we lose that game last season. It's like you're looking at like the result. You got battered. Like Brighton cannot finish their chances. They were the same last season. You look at the performance. A team that is more clinical beats you. You can't look at it as, last season we would have lost that. Well, maybe last season you would have beat a Brentford. You would have got a win there. Like, you can't just... And that's what I'm saying. Last season, I saw so many Arsenal fans say, we lost that. We lose that game last season. We lose that game last season. Even from when Arteta come in, as if it's some sort of sign that, we didn't lose to Brighton. So that means there's progress and we're going back to where we want to be. Come on.
Yeah.
Just be real.
And I guess I agree with you because it's the same with Man United when we beat West Ham, and some people will be like, but you're not playing well, but you're winning games. That's good, Sems. And I'm like, no, it's not, because consistently over a period of time, that ain't going to work. And exactly what you're saying there, you didn't play well against Brighton. So it doesn't matter, Ash, and I agree with what Dan is saying. It makes zero, it doesn't matter at all that last season you probably lose that and this season you draw it. You should have lost and you didn't lose because they weren't clinical, not because of anything else that Arteta does better or you was better. it's because they weren't clinical. So I totally agree. JB, what are your thoughts on that? Do you what Dan is saying or what I've just said there is? Would you in agree, or were you in agreement there with Ash that they can?
Oh no, I agree. No, I agree with you guys, man. Like you have to call it for how it is. Like like at the end of the day, like we said earlier, the eye test. Like my eyes don't lie to me. At the end of the day, like I see what I see on the pitch, and it's like, yeah, you might have I don't know, created some chances, but they weren't as clear chances as what the other guys made. And like you have to take these things with like a pinch of salt. Look at it from like from outside of that image that you see right in front of you. Just see it for what it is, and take it from there really. So
wicked. Now we're gonna have to wrap up soon, so just wanted to get your thoughts, everybody, Pat, JB, Dan, get your thoughts on Chelsea, who are the league leaders at the moment. They bounced back after the Man City loss. What are your thoughts on Chelsea? Do you think that we could be looking at the eventual champions, or do you think that it's going to be very tight? What are your thoughts, Dan, on Chelsea?
They're a weird team, aren't they? They're a weird team because you look at them, like that Man City performance was atrocious. Like as a team that just won the Champions League, and you're playing like at Stamford Bridge, and you're just playing so defensively like that. It's weird, and I think that they needed a response. They've got so much quality in that side, and I think it's impressive that he's even starting to get Werner was even looking good. That's a big positive for them. Lukaku, obviously, he started strong. He needs to get back into the goals. Like they've got the players there, but yeah, I think Tuchel needs to try and get his team to be a bit more assertive. Like, yeah, okay, play that way in sharp shop when you need to, but when you go against those big teams, you need to stick your chest out. You got an amazing squad, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they do over the course of those games. Like I said, if they're competing with Man City and Liverpool, and you're playing them teams and you're giving up so much possession like that and so many chances, they ain't going to win the league, because these are the big games where you need to be trying to win to do that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And the thing is with Pep as well, he's one of them, like, okay, you beat Pep twice, he'll come back and figure you out, and then it ain't gonna be happening no more. So that seems to be what happened there. So like I said, it's going to be interesting. I think Liverpool, they'll probably play Liverpool again before they play Man City again. I want to see them try and take the game to Liverpool a little bit more. I know they played Liverpool earlier in it, but they probably play Liverpool again. Yeah. That was they had a man sent off and that. So I want to see 11 on 11. Go for it, man. Take it to them.
JB, so I'm just thinking here, playing devil's advocate here. You don't lose. Well, they did lose against City, but it's the little teams that can sometimes be the difference. You get a point, or you may lose to the big teams, but if you make sure that you beat all of the smaller teams, then you probably end up champions. What are your thoughts then on them just sweeping away the smaller teams? And do you think that if you finish above Chelsea, you win the league, or what are your thoughts?
Chelsea are definitely one of the four contenders.
Just say four contenders. You don't have to say four and include us, bro. Just say three.
But I'll say that to say this, yeah. It's still early days. Like a lot Man City, correct me if I'm wrong, but they didn't have a great start last season. They won the league at a canter. So it's still, for me personally, it's like, I don't want to call it, because it's still, I'm the sort of person where I would say, like, ask me again at Christmas, see where they are at Christmas, and then I can assess it properly. But I still think it's still very early days. It's still early days, and it'll be between, it'll be tight. I think it's going to be a tight this season, because I can see everyone dropping points. Like City, well, Chelsea have already dropped points already early, and City have dropped points as well. United, us, we dropped points today. So, like, personally, I think it'll be between the four teams, and it'll be tight come the end of the season. So
fair dues.
can't call it if it's going to be, if it's going to be above Chelsea or not. But
yeah. That's fair. No, that's fair, man. We are in October, and as you say, we know football in it. We know how things can change. What are your thoughts, though, Pat, on at the moment? Just looking at things at the moment. Your thoughts on Chelsea? Because I do have to say I think Southampton were down to 10 men, isn't it? And then they got the 2 goals after that. So does that play a part in it?
I mean, you still got to beat them, isn't it? Like sometimes playing against 10 men is quite difficult because it's just literally backs to the wall, low block, breakers down. So they won the game fair and square. So yeah, I had Chelsea as Arsenal to do it. I had Chelsea to.
I don't know why that just makes me laugh.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I just laughing.
The fact that Arsenal winning the league is doing a Leicester. That's what they are.
Oh man, Arsenal fans, they're so optimistic. It's crazy. It's good. It's nice to see, man. But yeah, I had Chelsea as my favourites to win the league. But obviously, when you see the quality of the City and Liverpool game today, and obviously City then went and beat Chelsea, it makes you quite. It's too early. I agree. It's too early. It's hard to call. Obviously, you got to say something. You got to be brave enough to call it for what it is at the moment. But I do think it'll be a 3-horse race between City, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
But
and
Pat, look at this comment here, though, Pat.
Yeah,
it's something. Look, we played 7 games.
Yeah,
and Chelsea have played Arsenal, Spurs, Man City, and Liverpool. So 4 out of them 7 games are okay. You would expect them to beat Arsenal and Spurs, but there's still games that you can lose. They lost to Arsenal last season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's 4 out of the 7 games that we've played, and they're still top.
That's a good point, man.
You might not as well even put Arsenal and Spurs in there, to be honest. Like, let's
no,
be
but
real.
Arsenal and
who
Spurs
are the other teams that they played?
Arsenal and Spurs will take points off of teams. Well, maybe not
the big teams.
Spurs will. Look, Arsenal will beat Man United. This is how bad it is because we don't. If we play them at the Emirates, they'll beat us. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I think it's important. I still think
that's a great point.
That's a great point.
Yeah, see, I didn't even look at it like that. I just looked at the Chelsea team. I looked at what they did last year. I looked at what Tuchel's done to the team since he's got in. The fact that they added Lukaku, the fact that they're so well drilled and well, that unit as a collective, they know their jobs. They've got fantastic wing backs. The centre backs have all improved massively. You look at that Chelsea team; they're on the ascendancy. And they're going the right way. And they've won stuff as well since he's come in. So I would say that they're my favourites. But then I look at City and I look at Liverpool and they're still both immense teams. So I can't call it. But yeah, when you look at who Chelsea have played, fair play. Because I didn't even look at it in that context. So it's tough, man. It's tough. And even Man United, if they get the act together, I know sense you're going to be like, nah. But if Man United get the act together,
saying. If it clicks,
they've got more than enough quality to put a good run together and do some bits.
Yeah, they finished second last season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it starts clicking,
if it clicks, it's over.
They'll definitely be up there. So there's a lot of good teams, man. There's a lot of good teams now.
And you've got Mr. Clutch, Sam. You've got Mr. Clutch. He's
already done it already, isn't it? He's done it.
Mr. Clutch.
But he's
you
got to
can't
play
buy
him.
that.
He's got to start him.
Is that Andrew Townsend's?
Yeah.
The way Townsend did that, and then
he mocked it.
He had to beg it after though. So
he begged it massively.
Yeah,
Don't tell me that's
Ronaldo was like, "Fuck off! I'm not interested."
You can't tell me, that was in tribute to him. It's like, don't do that when you're scoring against me. Don't do my stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me that's in tribute to me.
Trust me, because that got me vexed. I looked at that. I was like, your take.
Do it.
And
then against Liverpool and do it. Then say it's a tribute.
Exactly. And you like in parts of the game after that, he was grinning and smiling and I like
after he scored.
Yeah, and I was just like this. I was like, you know what? Like, I actually like you, but right now I'm like hating you right now, and I'm like, so I could only imagine how them man on the field and Ronaldo was feeling.
Well, that got me bagged. I'm suspended on Twitter because of that.
Yeah,
bro.
That's what I posted.
And then he
That's
tries to go up to Ronaldo,
Oh,
and giving
snap.
him the dare. Like he's like you're this big player, like to go up to Ronaldo and be like, oh, don't worry, you'll be back. Like, he's like, get out of here, man.
Get out of here, man. That was hella cheeky, man. Hella cheeky.
Yeah, he took the piss.
What do you reckon about this though, JB? Liverpool a couple injuries away from doing what they did last season. We've got the African Nations Cup coming as well.
I would hope and pray that we're better prepared than what we were last season, and hopefully we won't incur, as many injuries as we did, because it was, you to have 4 starting centre backs out. That's not normal in any given season. So
that African Cup of Nations could wreak havoc on you guys at a pivotal time as well.
Well, they only missed 2 games, and the 2 games are, one of them I think is Brentford at home. I can't remember what the other game was.
Is it only 2 games?
Yes. Well, that's what I don't know how. I don't know if that's correct
more
or not. But I've heard they only missed 2 games.
Doesn't it depend how far they go in it?
They did,
yeah. That's a good point, because if they go far, those teams like Egypt should go far. Do you know what I mean? So Salah's out.
They always do. To be fair, they always do.
2's probably the minimum, innit? 2's probably the minimum, like that.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping and praying this time around we've just got like a lot more cover. I know we picked up a few injuries early on this season, and a couple men are drew back, but fingers crossed we can do it, man. Just see how it goes, I guess now.
All right, man. All right. Here we just said Townsend got Ronaldo's shirt in the end. I do think that's what he was trying to get. I don't know how Dash knows that, because I don't know, boy. But
it was on. I think it was on Instagram. Townsend.
Oh, is it? He got it, yeah. He came on his interview after the game. He said it as well, that it was just an honor to be on the same pitch as Ronaldo. So he definitely was. But in the moment, he was taking a piss as well. He was taking. He was.
Do you think Ronaldo's there going like, "Oh my god, I'm so honored"?
No. He was taking the piss at the same time. You know what I mean? You man, I got Ronaldo, and I'm doing He was.
Yeah, it's like when Villa was
mugging us off.
Do you remember the Villa fans was doing it outside the ground? Like,
after they won.
That was hilarious.
This is, and we're gonna wrap up now. But I just want to make this point quickly before we go. Is we are now, there's a fine line in it now. Man United are now close to being that laughing stock again, because with the players and the team we have, if we're not now competing for what we should be competing for, we get knocked out of the Champions League, we're going to become a laughing stock. If we're not
2 years in a row.
Exactly. If we're not up there, challenging for the title, and we're battling for top 4, we're gonna be laughed at. Do you know what I mean? So it's a thin line now. Ollie's really got to deliver, man. He's really got to deliver. But yeah, man. You know what? I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for all of you guys in the comments that have been watching and have been leaving the comments. Give us a like if you haven't already. It does help the video. But thank you to my pundits, man. Honor as always to have you. Pleasure having you back again, Dan. Please let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, obviously at the Lawless on Twitter, as you can see. I don't even bother plugging my Instagram because I need to be using that more, so there's no point. But West Ham Fan TV on all the platforms, YouTube, everything, and that. You can also check out my other channel, Dan, Damo, and Jace, the 3 of us. There was I got done with some dissolvable swimming shorts. Gone up. Yeah,
I need to see this
big time in Portugal, man. My friend stitched me up, got me some shorts, dissolvable swim shorts. They just fell apart in the swimming pool. Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing, but I put them on all of a sudden. Like, I'm picking up bits of like fabric, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, what all this fabric's coming off, and I'm in this public swimming pool. I'm like, nah. So yeah, my friend filmed it, so we just put that up. I was like, fuck it,
Wow,
that is jokes, man. What's happening for Jace though, man? Is he good?
Yeah, Jace is good. He was at the game today, got me some water, dashed off. So yeah, like he's in the video. He was laughing his head off. He was supposed to wear a pair of them shorts, by the way. I know that's not that anyone would have wanted to see that, but yeah, he got out of it.
All right, no, I need to holler at Jace, man. We need to get him back on the podcast as well, man. Back. Yeah, he's good people, man. JB, talk to us, man. Where can they find you? I know you're not really a Twitter, man, and all of that. Really.
I'm just a football lover, man. So yeah, you can catch me at Jay Dwelly on Instagram. But if you ever want to catch me again, I'm here, Sam. I'm ready. So
wicked, man. It's been an honor having you back. We need to get you on more often as well. Thanks for Pat sorting out the linkage for you today. And Pat, man, obviously you're down in the doldrums at the moment, man. Twitter gone.
Exactly. I'm in Twitter jail. So keep obviously Semps will keep you close posted, and we'll keep you posted on the Views channel as well. I'm in the midst of getting it appealed. I've got a good connect at Twitter. I can't name anyone at the moment. So if that goes through, then I should be able to. So yeah, I've got to keep it. Yeah, I can't say too much, but I'm trying to get my account back. If not, then I'll put another one out and I'll get everyone to retweet it and send it out. And next time you see me on here, you'll have all my new details. So yeah, currently on bail, I think. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Well, now you can catch me on here as always, obviously. So it's all good. And then coys.com every Monday we stream after the Spurs games.
Wicked. All right then, man. Well, that is a wrap. That was everyone's a pundit, people. And these were my pundits. Until next week, man. We are out, people. Have a blessed week.